Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the inconvenience, but hopefully this will be much better and with less interruptions. We're still sitting with the Investec pack of wild dogs. Now, I feel a bit sorry for them because I think they did get a bit of a fright with the tractor today. They're not particularly happy. I mean, normally wild dogs are some of the most relaxed animals out there. They habituate so well to the cars that I've had puppies, and not just me, a number of different people have had this, run under their vehicles. So that just goes to show you how relaxed they normally are. But sometimes things happen out here in the wild, and I don't think anybody intentionally upset the wild dogs. So it will just take a bit of time for them to settle down. And they're also quite comfortable tucked away under that tree. I think trying to keep away from all the biting flies, as are BK and I, because they're biting me. Are they biting you? They're getting you as well. They're a nightmare. Have you been taught about the Guari branch yet? No. Oh my goodness, we're going to show you all sorts of tricks here. I'm going to blow your mind. Wonderful. But we're going to sit here for a little bit. I think we'll let these dogs relax with the vehicle, and hopefully in the next bit they will wake up. But off you go back on to Djuma, where the hyenas are far more active than the sleepy dogs.
Now these two have come out to say hello. Hello. And if you're wondering where Plonk is, all I can see is 1 foot from the front of the car. He's very, very curious, and he's come... Oh, now I can't see him at all. He comes through and comes round the car very, very often. And he'll sometimes come underneath, like, the wheel section in the front, or underneath the bonnet. I don't know if it's the warmth or he just likes to... Hello? We're talking about you. Can you see him? Can you see how his tail looks like he literally dunked it into a can of paint? Tim would like to know if there's any other type of hyenas besides spotted. There's 2 other types of hyenas. The spotted hyenas are... The spotted hyenas are, of course, the bigger ones, and their social structure, having this matriarchy, is a bit unique to them. But we do also have the striped hyena and the aardwolf. And the brown hyena, of course. We don't get them here. I think occasionally you can get a brown hyena here, but we don't get it on the reserve, and I haven't seen it. And I'm not sure many others have seen them around here either.
Apparently once seen.
Ah, James says apparently it was once seen. Crystal says this is Pretty's cub and not Plonk. Well, that's really interesting. Can be hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crystal says it has E.T. written on the side. That's very clever. Let's see how they interact here. Very nice ID, Crystal. I'd love to know where the other one of Pretty's cubs is, and where Plonk is then, because I didn't see them go back into the den. So they're definitely somewhere around here. Also, the way that he kind of got a jump when Corky moved. Lara Moore, I have to agree with you. I love their eyes too. They have these big round eyes. And I also like the way that their forehead kind of folds, like they're really curious and kind of not sad, but you know when you want something from your father and you pull a certain face? They have that kind of face. Very pretty. Now that cub has just gone over to Tsaka. You'll find while the matriarch is around, Tsaka will be very, very nice to the cubs. And then when she's gone, he can be a little less nice, we could say. Oh, please excuse that pole again. We'll try our best to get you a better position here because pole's in the way, they're moving around a lot. But while I do that, in the meantime, let's go over to Steve on a midday bushwalk, which is quite nice.
Thanks, Trish. Really nice to have some time with those youngsters, isn't it? Well, we've gone all the way around onto Triple M. We've come down Triple M. We didn't find any tracks of Shidulu or her cubs coming in. So we've cut back into Djuma, back into this block which Hukumuri loves so much. And while we're scanning every single marula tree, and Craig just picked up a marula, and can you believe it, everyone? He just had his first marula of the year. I know. Where's he been? Where have you been, Craig? They weren't ripe when he was here last time. He missed the beer making that we did last week. And by the way, the marula beer was very nice. Even got James to try some. He said it was good. I got the tick from James himself that it was nice marula beer. Couldn't entice many people to have a second cup though, but that's okay. I managed to sort it all out. It wasn't very strong, but was very nice. Okay, so we're continuing through this block. We're going to try and see if she has come in. Maybe she's crossed one of these roads here within. So when I give James the approval, it must be good. That's what Kirsty's saying, Amaya. The James Hendry stamp of approval. So we're just checking around here to see if there's any signs of Hukumuri, maybe Shidulu, maybe she's come back in again. We found where Trish had her just on the other side of the road, lots of vehicle activity, but no signs of little cubs up the tree. Watch out there, Craiger, you've got a bush behind you. So we're going to just keep wandering through here and see if we can get any sight or activity. But while we go, here's a beautiful little Uthaka of a praying mantis. I'm not sure which species, but beautifully just stuck there on the end of this branch of a black monkey orange. And no doubt will erupt and hatch, and you'll have a whole lots of little babies coming out. There was a wonderful photo the other day that I'm not sure, I think Seb was a cameraman, they managed to post, showed all those baby praying mantises coming out. It's very cool. It's nothing I've seen before. I've seen many Uthakas in my day, but I've never seen the babies actually coming out, which is very, very special. Very nice. Carry on with us, folks. It seems like the storm that has been coming is pushing itself north. We can still hear it rumbling over there, but it's not bearing down on us right now. And weather reports are saying it's not going to rain here until about 7 o'clock. Okay, well, I spent a lot of time this morning with the wild dogs. Taylor is with them now, and hopefully she's going to get them getting up and doing something more than just sleeping.
And we're going to spend lots of time with them now. How wonderful is that? I'm going to say today's word is wonderful. Also, I must warn you, if you see the car suddenly do this, that's not BK, that's me swatting flies. Or you'll hear the sound of something like that as well. Also, the dogs have started to relax so much with us now that they've completely fallen asleep. And we can only see the one. And occasionally, you can see a few ears moving around deeper in that thicket. There we go. There's another set of ears. I'm not actually sure how many dogs were here this morning. Could anybody help me and tell me how many dogs were found this morning? Hashtag Safari Live, or let us know via the YouTube chat. I'll be waiting. I won't be going anywhere. It's obviously very difficult to get a count on them when they're all tucked away like this. So I'm not even going to guess how many of these dogs are here. I also would like to identify this tiny little type of fly that keeps biting us. It's really horrible. It's very rude. So talking about biting insects, while I was in Zambia, my goodness, the tsetse flies. That is another story. You'd have to beat yourself so hard that you would leave bruises, because a tsetse fly, those are resilient creatures. They've got built-in armor plating in their bodies, and you can literally stand on them with the bottom of your boot, and you watch them, like 2 seconds later, they'll just pop up again and be like, no, we're fine, just had a little nap, and then off they would go. So tsetse flies were not fun. I got bitten by them quite a few times, but it did work out. It's not a confirmed repellent. There's no confirmed repellent, but a combination of Dettol antiseptic spray, citronella oil in my body lotion, and a really good, strong mosquito repellent, the three of those together, that repelled them for about an hour, and then you'd have to reapply. So keep that in mind. It also didn't smell very nice. I would sneeze about 300 times after doing that. And then, what you should all take along with you, do you know what a chamois is? Oh, hang on. Alice, you said there was 1 female and 8 males. Did I hear that correctly? Did you hear that as well? Okay, cool. So that was that answer. But what you should take with you when you go to Zambia is a chamois, which is like a type of leather cloth. And I normally use that to wash, what people use them to wash cars and things like that. I use it for a variety of functions. And one of the things that I found worked even better as a fly swatter was this chamois cloth. I will demonstrate to you, not today because I don't have it with me because I've left it at home, but it worked really, really, really well. You would stun the tsetse flies and then you could finish them off without any trouble. Luckily there's none here though, so we don't have to worry about that. Has our battle gone, or is it still there, Beaker? Can you still see it? Should we have another look at that? Because that's probably far more interesting right now than the wild dog's ears twitching. We know why they're twitching. So the battle eagle is just sitting up, waiting for the dogs to go on the move. I think the dogs are clever by hanging around here. And so is this battle eagle, because the open plains just to the north of the airstrip are littered with impala. And maybe once it cools down, they will get up and they'll head in that direction. So I don't think they ate anything other than a millipede this morning. So the battalier might try and stick it out and see if it can get any scraps. However, I think this young battalier eagle hasn't quite realized that there's often not many scraps left with a wild dog, especially if they catch something like a young impala. They're able to crush right through all those bones. So, oh well, I suppose you got to live and learn. And it's good experience for this eagle nonetheless. No, you don't think so, Eagle? Do you disagree? Oh, you just got an itchy head. Fair enough. Not very impressed, I don't think. At least it's not raining. Otherwise, that bird really would have not been impressed with this afternoon. Looks like it's getting a bit bored now. Like, I've been waiting here all day for you to make a move, and you've done nothing. Don't worry. I feel the same way. Why didn't you come and sit on the front of the car? That could be interesting. That would definitely change up the sighting. Oh, there's the wild dog. That's moving under the tree. That's a little marula tree growing sideways now. Also having a bit of a scratch. Probably not from the flies, but maybe the fleas. That will do that to you. Now completely vanished. Okay. I'm glad that they've settled down though. I feel like already we've achieved our purpose here. Everybody's relaxed with us nicely. So that's good. I can hear another vehicle coming far away, so they're probably coming to this dog sighting. Hopefully we'll be able to stick with them for a long time because I quite like to watch them. Rosalind, I'm not exactly sure on the decibel scale as to how loud a wild dog squeak is, as you described it. So they have a couple of different calls. You'll hear that sort of very high-pitched call that they'll do, and then you'll hear it's a very sort of daunting, sad sound when you hear a wild dog do their version of the whooping noise. Tristan does an incredible impersonation of it. I cannot really do it so well. Maybe Steve can demonstrate the sound that a wild dog makes when it's looking for other members of its pack. I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to, of course, disturb the wild dogs. But perhaps it can be a challenge between Craig and Steve and Rexon to see who can do the best wild dog call. And maybe Trishala wants to give it a bash too. Should we challenge her? I think that's what I need to do. I need to start getting the challenges in with Trishala and Holly. Don't you think? How fun would that be? Rain dance, although we don't need to do the rain dance. We're getting plenty of that. Bird calls. Oh, it's going to be fabulous. That'll be good. We'll see how that goes. We obviously also don't want to disturb the hyena cub, so we'll have to be sensitive to that, but you can do. Kirsten has already lost faith in me. She's forgotten. She says that Collie is going to beat me in bird calls. Has he been practicing? Has James made him practice in front of the mirror 10 times a day? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that's what he's had to do over the last couple of weeks. Kirsten, what does a 10 out of 10 bird caller mean? Is he just good at remembering their cell phone numbers? There was also... I'm hilarious. I'm going to write a joke book one day. So hilarious. Wild dogs, please, can you wake up now? I think you've had ample time to sleep. Okay, I've been rated 5 out of 10 on my bird calls. Do any viewers disagree out there? Where are my fans? Who really likes me? Now is your time to shine. Show that, Kirsten. Show her how mean she's being. I need someone to tell me that I'm really good at everything. No, I'm joking. Please don't. Please don't do that. It was just a joke. You guys have all turned on me. I disappear for just a little bit, and now you've got other favorites. That's very unfair, I'd just like to say. Yes, there's a wild dog on the move. Wake up, dogs. Eat grass, smell the air, sneeze, anything. Absolutely anything I'll be happy with. No, back to sleep again. I just keep getting excited every time I see one standing up. Oh well. I can hear the rain, not the rain gauge, the Game Drive radio. I don't know where rain gauge came from. Probably we'll need to update everybody to still let them know that it's 1 out of 5 visual. We're lucky we've got a camera. Okay, well, somebody else that you all seem to like more than me, which is fine, is Trishala. And let's see how good her wild dog call actually is.
Yes, we do love the hyena cubs. Well, I'm going to give my best wild dog squeak in a bit. I need to warm up. I have 2 versions. One version sounds like a chicken.
There you go.
Should I go? Okay.
Good. There we go.
Version 1. Version 2.
Sounds identical to version 1.
No, it does not sound identical to version 1. Does it, guys? Version 1 seemed more high-pitched.
Let's see what you can do. Absolutely useless. Try once more. I'm going to give both of these two a 0 out of 10.
No, Kirst gave me a 7 out of 10. They're not bad. We'd love to hear Steve's version.
I've never heard a wild dog going chip, 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 chip. Sounds like a Steelings barred warbler.
It's such a hard thing to like. James, please could you do it?
No, I'm on camera. I need to concentrate on maintaining focus.
He's being a diva, unfortunately, everybody. And he says, no, he's on camera, he needs to focus. Ha 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 ha. Do you get it? Dry jokes. It's nothing like my dry jokes. This one is just having the time of their lives. Do you know how to make a wild dog sound? It must have been about 2 weeks ago. I was here with Darby, and normally we'll hear the sort of squittering that the cubs make. Oh, everybody's upset with James. Come, James. Let's hear it. He's huffing, by the way. That's pretty good. I think that's a good one.
I think it's identical.
Of course,
That's
you
why
would
that-
think it's identical.
That's why this hyena's coming towards us. He thinks it's food.
Gus gives that a 3 out of 10. It does sound like an evil evil cloud. Has this gotten your attention, little one? You've been eating round leaf teak. Is that what you've been doing? Oh, I was saying to you that a few weeks ago I was here at the den with Darby, and normally you'll hear the squittering, the normal that the cubs will make. And for the first time, and even Darby said he had never heard this before, it was tiny, tiny whoops. Highly un-whoop-like, but you could definitely tell it was a whoop. I'm going to move my leg in there so you don't think that it's a chew toy. It was so cute. It whoop, whoop. It sort of looked like that. What sounded like that? Sorry. Take a screenshot, people. Take a screenshot. I would take a selfie. Look how cute this is. Say cheese. Really, really, really curious. So, but now when you see this, you can kind of understand why when the adults are not around, we can sort of, our presence may coax the cubs out and they can behave like this, and if there's something else around, we can have an issue. But now you can see that clearly. He's demonstrating exactly what the behavior is like. And this, oh, disappeared under the front bonnet. And you two are not venturing far at all, are you? Ah, Taylor has wild dogs waking up and greeting. Let's go over there quick.
Yay, finally! And listen to them. How great is that? So if you've never joined us before and you haven't seen wild dogs, this is them greeting. So when you live in a pack, you're obviously very, very social. And being social is super important for a number of different reasons, but particularly for hunting. The stronger the bond between the members of the pack, the more successful the hunts will be. How cool is this? It's been a very long time since I've heard that sound. Hopefully they don't just lay down again. Maybe they'll rally one another to get up and on the move. Even if they just wake up and move out onto their airstrip, that'd be fantastic. Just so that we can see. Looks like, no, I thought a couple of them were using luxury facilities, but I'm mistaken. They're going flat again. Not quite ready to get up just yet. Cecilia, that's a great description. You said they sound like little tea kettles. Listen, let me know if you find out where to buy those tea kettles that make that sound, because I think of a few people that would like this as a gift. It would be great. That's so funny. It is a strange noise, though. I don't think I could personally imitate that noise. I didn't hear that, Kirsten. Please can you say it again? I turned the volume down. I'm self-conscious that you can hear Kirsten through the radio. Oh, Lewis, you said it sounded like they were a tape on fast forward. Yes, it was much funnier when you said it the first time. Sorry, I ruined your moment there. Ha 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 ha. It was hilarious. It was quite funny. Now you kind of need to have that audio and then them running around. Although I feel like when they greet one another, they do that pretty quickly too. They're always on the move. So a little bit of grooming going on there. Look at the wagging of the tail. Very excited. That was awesome to see. Look at that. It's kind of like my windscreen wipers when it rains in Joburg. And in Johannesburg, it starts, and then you have to turn it off because it makes that high-pitched, whiny sound, and then you got to put it back on really fast because there's another downpour. That's sort of what the tail's doing right now. Come on, puppies, wake up for us properly and come out so we can say hello. I don't know when they last ate. I don't know if they caught anything yesterday afternoon or the morning before, but there are lots of impala around. I can't see any right now, but when we arrived in the sighting, we drove along the airstrip, I could see quite a few. Not that it's a problem for these dogs. We also know that they can travel some serious distances. And again, if you've never seen wild dogs with us before, maybe you're a new viewer, let us know. #SafariLive, or tell us on the YouTube chat. Is this your first time seeing wild dogs? Because you're very lucky, because there's only a couple of thousand, about 4,500 left in Africa, and there's only about 10% of that population within the greater Kruger National Park. So to see something like this, and especially with the limitations of traversing that goes on in the sand, we are spoiled, super, super spoiled. And I really think in the northern Sabi Sands, we do see wild dogs regularly. I know you can go a couple of months without seeing them, but I mean, I think we're pretty lucky. Maybe I'm just lucky with the wild dogs. I hope they hang around though. I hope they do. I don't even know if they've got any puppies. Obviously, I haven't seen them just yet. I haven't seen any particularly small ones. They'll probably be sub-adults now, at least. When would they have given birth? Towards the end of when I was here. So what, September, October, somewhere around there? Ah, okay. So they won't be teeny tiny anymore, but we'll see. We'll have to see. The last time I saw the Investec pack was in 2017, but I always talk about the great sighting I had once with the Toulon pack down in the southern sections of the Sabi Sand, and the Investec pack were having a fight. That was really cool to see, and they were both exceptionally large packs at the time too, so it was just painted wolves wherever you looked. Right, Steve is now willing to give an attempt at the wild dog call. Let's see if he's better than the other three at the Hyena den.
Hello everybody. Your first time or not seeing wild dogs? It's always very special spending time with them. We had them this morning if you weren't watching, but as Taylor says, to get them getting up and making their chattering sound, it's very hard to do because it's a very high-pitched sort of squeal. Rex is going to try. You're going to try, Rex? He's just going to have to come close to my hat. Ooh, 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 ooh. That is a contact call that they definitely do. I think, Kirsty, looking for that high-pitched chattering sound. It's impossible to recreate with the human mouth. Ooh, ooh. That's impossible. I can't. I have no idea how anyone can do that with their mouth. It's this very high-pitched metallic sound. Almost sounds like a computer. No, I can't do it. Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. Talia, thanks for your challenge. An impossible one. Maybe if I was a bat, I'd be able to do that noise. Thanks, Kirst. 1 out of 10. It's always nice to be on the bottom of the table. Okay, so we're still trying to see if there's any tracks of Shadulu. Nothing has come out anywhere, but we're moving along, checking the termite mounds, checking the tall marula trees. We know she loves to get up in the tree. Rexon spotted something. What have you got there, Rex? Ah, ticks. And this is what is out as well at the moment. The rhinoceros tick. One by my leg. Just waiting on the end of the branches here, of the grasses, questing, looking for some food in the form of blood. They are parasites. Let's see if he responds if I blow on him. I'm going to hold that for you, Craigo. They often respond to carbon dioxide because before jumping on an animal, they smell the animal or taste the animal coming. And what's very interesting is that these ticks can live on the end of branches or end of grass stalks for a couple of weeks. And they're able to sort of let out this mucus sort of membrane in their mouth, which absorbs the atmospheric oxygen and moisture. And then they absorb that back in, and that's how they drink. Because you can imagine that a tick sitting on the end of a grass stalk like this can't just suddenly drop down and go running away to the local watering hole before coming back again. So it's a very well adapted ability to sort of absorb moisture from the atmosphere. Very strange thought, though, to be able to sort of expose your inner mouth and it comes out and just absorbs the moisture around, then in it goes again. That is a tick. And a lot of you are saying, ew. Well, it's not too bad. How many legs? It's only got 3. No, it's got 4 sets of legs. So this is an adult. Ticks with 3 sets of legs are regarded as nymphs and not regarded as egg laying. Melinda, it's creeping out. I'm terribly sorry. But it really is harmless, you know. He's not going to cause me any harm. And the thing is, the nice thing about these big ticks is they're very visible. So if you do find them, they're easily seen on the body. And, well, we just get over tick bites out here now. It's just part and parcel of the job, I'm afraid. These parasites, they do their thing. You know, you've just got to... They also want to be loved, you know, Belinda. They also want to meet a man and have his babies and, you know, have some fun on the back of an animal with some bloodlust and then gorge themselves until they get really big and fat and then fall off on the ground and lay eggs and die. I mean, what a life. What a life. It's like... They are the vampires of the insect world. They are, except they don't have cool moves like in all the movies you see with vampires. They've got really cool moves and really cool teeth. Gizmo, I know. Tick bite fever is a related disease transferred by ticks. But the tick itself, really, I mean, it just makes you itch. I know in North America there's Lyme disease, which is a very, very bad disease people to get. But I don't know of anyone dying of tick bite fever out here. You just get a headache and you feel very uncomfortable for a period of time and it goes away. Craig, you've had tick bite fever. It just comes and goes. You're going to have it at some point if you work in this industry. And you're going to have it. Anyway, we're going to continue on. Up we go. We're going to see if there's any tracks. Still scanning to see if there's any sign of her in the thickets here. But while we do that, just down the road, Trishala, Orly and James are whispering to the hyenas.
Oh, good luck with that, Steve. We looked for her yesterday. We didn't manage to find her. And, of course, she'd have that wonderful cubs. Or, well, I only saw the one, but maybe she'll have 2 with her. That'd be really, really exciting. But I have these 2 cubs in the meantime to keep us entertained. Not straying far from the den entrance at all. I was just noting how they look a lot spottier than Plonk did at about the similar age, a month or so. Plonk seemed really, really black, and you remember that obvious white or hairless patch he had on his face? And these ones seem really, or a lot more spotty than he did. And you can also see that sort of ridge of hair going down the back, short and spiky at the moment. Totally cute. So much cuteness. Oh, and can you see on the forehead? That's the forehead I was talking about. All the wrinkles. Paula would like to know what keeps these termite mounds from flooding when it rains. Well, nothing really does apart from height. So if the hyenas are unfortunate enough, sorry, I was just trying to move out of the way so you could see them. This horrible pole, it's not working for us. But like I was saying, nothing besides height is keeping it from flooding. And inside, if it's badly positioned enough to actually fill up with water, then on the inside you kind of have little, what do you call them? Like a pedestal or shelves. I knew it was something cupboard related. You have these shelves on the inside, so the cubs would go and stand on those raised shelves, and then maybe it would be flooding beneath it. So height is the big one there. And this den has 2 entrances, one here and one on the other side, and they're both at the same height. They're not... Again, so much of this greeting ceremony going on. I want to have a good look. And you saw the way that she came in here. Kind of grimacing. Right down. Turn around, turn around. And you also saw the tail sort of raised. I didn't think June, but then she came right to the den and called, so that would imply that she's got something there. And also the behavior, I haven't seen that. Let's see who emerges. It is June. I think it's June. For the first time, I'm actually a bit confused. It was wrong. I thought I saw a juice written on her. Okay, let's try and figure out who the newcomer is here. So much interaction happening here today. Let's see, who do we think this newcomer is? Hashtag Safari Live, of course, and please let me know if you know. In the meantime, I'd love to know where the other 2 older cubs are, Plonk and Pretty's other cub, because they seem to have just drifted off on their own.
Okay. Sorry.
Crystal says it was June. I did see Juice, or I thought I saw Juice, and then her ears didn't look right. But then remember, she had a recent fight, but we don't know where or with whom, and her ears got a bit tatty. So that'll explain that. Well done, Crystal. You're on a roll. So that's really interesting. There's a couple things that are going on here that are very interesting. Firstly, we know that Corky is the matriarch. Yet, June, who is quite low ranking, is denning here with Corky. And Pretty is not. And you even saw the way that June reacted to, the way she submitted to Corky, right down onto the ground. She had a tail stiff and raised, pulled back in that grimace, kind of that awkward high school smile, I'm trying to get on with everybody kind of smile. And I just think it's really interesting that the two of them are denning together, and I wonder if that means that June's rank has increased over Pretty. I don't know, just so much going on. Smiley Face wants to know which hyena was making that noise. If you're talking about the high-pitched sort of giggling that was going on, then yes, that was June making that noise. There was also the little cub making noise in between that as well. But that was more cub-like, if that makes sense. You would have heard that that's definitely a cub making that noise. But that high-pitched giggling is, I know we often just associate them with hyenas, but more likely is their association with nervousness and submissive hyenas. So we often hear it around a kill when there's submissive hyenas kind of milling about on the outside waiting to get a cut. You hear them kind of all a little laughing and giggling. Very interesting. Hyena dynamics are so interesting. It's one of those things you can keep on reading about. It's never static. It constantly changes. Constant new research done. Always something new to learn about them. Absolutely intriguing. Now this little one has bits of white at the end of his fur, or is that just, I don't know, maybe he's growing grey early. Well, we can investigate that just now. In the meantime, let me send you back over to Taylor with those wonderful dogs.
So we're still sitting here with the wild dogs that are just flashing their tails at us every now and then and standing up and then sitting back down. But they've been doing this quite a few times now, so hopefully this will be the last time that they sit back down. They're all chattering again. Can you hear them? Can you imagine hearing that sound for the first time in the bush, but you had absolutely no idea what it is? There's no way you'd guess that this was the animal that was making that sound. You'd probably think it was a bird or something like that. A flock of birds. Come on, dogs. Come out this way. Also love the way that they hop over the top of one another's heads with absolute ease. So there you can see a couple of the youngsters. So correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm of course uncertain. Is it just alpha male and alpha female with puppies? Or with sub-adults? Is that the case here? Does anybody know? I don't know how good of a view you got this morning. I didn't actually go back and watch that sighting. Or are there a couple of other fully grown members within this pack? Okay. Okay, so not youngsters, so all adults. Okay, interesting. It'll be great to see them out in the open. That'll be really nice. And it's amazing if this is the original Investec pack. Oh yes, all the Investec, that was the breakaway pack. Thank you, Kirsten, that had all the cups. Completely forgot about that. So that's amazing if that pack has stuck together for such a long time. I mean, we know about all the different diseases and factors that unfortunately don't allow for wild dogs to live as long as other animals. Whether it's lions getting them, which very sadly Brent has seen firsthand before, where a lioness grabbed a wild dog, whether it's canine distemper or rabies that wipe the pack out. They really have a hard time. Everyone's sort of flat again, except one. Yes, please encourage everybody to stay on the move. Come this way. Come out to the open. I'll tell you where the impala are. Yay, coming towards us. That's good news. That's actually awesome news. Very slowly though, but at least it's something. You'll often see them male and female, obviously, because you'll have the alphas within the pack. They normally determine what goes on. It's always been so confusing when you watch them together as to who decides exactly that goes first. But it will be one of the two that initiate sort of the hunt, or rallying one another up. Obviously, the entire pack has got a lot of respect for the alpha male and female. Come on. No, sitting down again, having a scratch. It's starting to get really hot now too. Finally, the sun is breaking through the clouds. We haven't just got that dull grey colour now. So whether they're just going to hide away in the shade, because it's exceptionally humid. I'm actually sad it didn't rain. I wish we'd got a 5-minute downpour, because that would have broken the heat. You can see them panting slightly with a dappled light. Just on their faces. Lovely. Nice sharp white teeth. You pass your dental exam. Well done, wild dog. So moving back to their original spot. Smelling the air every now and then. Having a look around. That's the thing with wild dogs, I suppose with any predators, they do just sit there quietly and then could hop up at any point. Penguin on safari, wild dogs have a huge litter. It's pretty incredible. If I'm not mistaken, I think the record was either 21 or 23 pups ever recorded. However, that number is very uncommon. But anywhere between 10 and 13 pups. Yay! Right, are you ready? Okay, BK, sorry. We're going now. Once the wild dogs start moving, we start moving too. Hold on to your horses. It's going to go straight back. We're going to have to try and keep the vehicle sort of front on to the dogs. Whew, that was... that's why I'm going so slowly. Ooh, low range. That was worth the wait, wasn't it? Hey, finally. Okay, so I'm going to park like this. There's another vehicle in the sighting. Okay, Kirsten, no problem. We are right on the boundary of Chitwa, just to let you know. If they go south, oh, there's one there. If they go south, it'll take them 2 seconds to run off of the property. Just to let Kirsten know, but there's one dog that's waking up now. So that's where they were lying. They were lying on the stretch of the road today. And I wouldn't imagine that they would have wanted to sit out in the sun. When Geraldine and I went for a run today, it was exceptionally warm. Really, really hot. Yay! I love it when this happens. This is my fave. Hi, puppies. Oh. Now we sit and watch as they all come around. I'm glad to see that they're so relaxed. Ooh. Can you see? Must I duck? I'm trying to also hide away so that BK doesn't get my head, but I know I can't see the monitor. Oh, how's that smell? Not pleasant. And then, of course, please apologies, the roof will pop into frame every now and then, but I don't think that's too much of a train smash. Oh, this is my favorite. So we'll just watch the ones in front of us because that's the best view that we are going to have. I'm just going to sit up, sorry. Hi, dogs. Look at this one, it's so curious. It's smelling us, you see that? Wonder if they're interested in the roof. This is so great. So this is why it is so worth waiting. I was hoping they were going to do this and stick out in the open. Perfect afternoon then. sun's come out. We've got really gorgeous light. I was complaining horrifically earlier about the light. I was saying it's not fair. Every time I want to take pictures, I can't take pictures because the light is so terrible. And now it's perfect. Oh, it is beautiful. It's very unusual to have so many males in the pack, though. I don't think I've ever seen this before. That's quite crazy. That poor female, all on her own. Oh, this is so cool. BK, how are you doing? You fine?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. Daniel, I agree with you. I think they do have very expressive eyes. Look at them, beautiful hazel color. Especially when that light catches it, it's sort of amazing. See, so now they're all relaxing out in the open. What I will try and do at some point is, when you next come back to us, I'll try and reposition. I'll just sort of move out of the way, because now that these dogs have come out, we can open the sighting up again and we can create it as a 3-vehicle sighting. While we were watching them in the grass, we sort of restricted the amount of vehicles, firstly because they were a little bit on the nervous side, and well, you couldn't see anything. Yeah, Kirsten, I saw that. It's just walked out of frame. BK, that one that's to the right? Yeah, that one there. So as it walked past me, it has got a tiny little, I don't think it's anything significant. It looked like a little red patch, almost like as if a tick had bitten it. If any of you have ever been bitten by a tick, and the sort of swollen red mark you'll get, it's a very, very small, tiny wound. Nothing to worry about at all. This is so great. So there's no impala down this end of the airstrip. The dogs obviously know. I just want to see what's going on. I'm going to reposition us slightly just because it's going to get a bit awkward now, I think, BK, with the roof. Like I said, we'll try to keep the vehicle front on. So I'm just going to reverse out of here, and then I'm going to go on the airstrip. Or actually, I just wanted to get us nice light. I suppose this will be fine. There we go. Now we've just got an opportunity to wash a little bit better. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Waiting for one more to come out. One I might have miscounted though. This is stunning. Yeah. No youngsters here. All adults. There we go. There's finally the 9th one has come out, so all 9 are still here. That's good news. It's nice whenever we don't have lots of lions around, we see nice sightings of the wild dogs, which I'm very happy about. Although I love lions, I would like to see them again. But with there being so few wild dogs, I think we need to embrace sightings like this. Aha, we've got a bit of a changeover now, a switcheroo, if you will. Ollie is in the hot seat at the hyena den. Let's go and hear what he's got to say.
Hello, I'm Ollie, and I'm on the hot seat now. I've exchanged seats with Trishada. So what's happening here, it's amazing because the parents of these 2 cubs are looking for these cubs. They moved away from the den looking for them. That's why we saw Corky making sounds at the entrance of the door there. So they didn't respond, so they just took off and went to look for these young ones. And then these youngsters, they came from a different direction because Corky thought that her cub is inside there. Okay, let's quickly go to Steve and fix some technical issues here.
Thanks, Mr. Corley. Welcome back, everybody. Well, we found some tracks here of what looks like some scraping over here, scratching in the ground, and then definitely a little ball of droppings there. And you can tell if we move it that it's white as well as dark, which is a classic sort of dropping of a bird or a reptile. And our birds and reptiles don't have 2 holes. They've only got 1 hole called the cloaca, which all their waste comes out of, as well as eggs. So you'll often get this sort of darker section with the white, which is concentrated uric acid. And looking at the track over here in the sand, this is from a francolin, possibly a Natal spur fowl. You can see the toes 1, 2, 3, and the back toe off at an angle. Spur fowls are quite easy to identify in their tracks because it's over 90 degrees, that toe to that toe. And when we measure it with the size centimeters, it should be about 7 from the back toe to the front. Some people can confuse a guinea fowl with a francolin, but a guinea fowl is about 10 centimeters and their track is also 90 degrees. So where they form the toe, it's a very perfect 90 degrees, whereas the francolin is just over that 90 degree line. Can you see that, Craig? I'll draw it there. So it's over the 90. If you are a geometrical person, that is it. I always like finding these sort of signs in the bush and going through all the stages of what it could have been. And while francolins this time of year are feeding a lot of seeds, a lot of insects as well. So there's a combination of that in their droppings. And if we have to break it open, we'll actually be able to see some of the seeds. And probably some insect carapaces as well, as they're scratching through elephant dung, looking for all sorts of larvae in beetles and things like that. But very, very good distributors of seed, because lots and lots of seeds are designed for being eaten and ingested. Bob, it does have a very large poo, and it's something quite characteristic with our ground birds. Ground birds can afford to have a much larger poo, whereas smaller birds that fly, obviously they need to release them much sooner because of flight. You know, just like paying for overweight baggage on the aeroplane. Birds don't have the luxury of overweighting themselves, so they'll just drop any droppings as soon as they possibly can. So they'll often poo repeatedly as soon as there's some movement, whereas birds on the ground, they can afford to hold in a little bit longer due to the fact that it's not weighing them down, so to speak, as they walk along the ground. Sort of maximizes their ability to forage for food. Very good. Nice little tracking section there. And also when you find guinea fowl tracks, you'll often find many of them because they are quite sort of communal birds. Okay, well, we're going to continue on down here. We're still searching, but we'll see what else we can find. But let's go back to Taylor, who's got the dogs. Look like they're about to take off.
Right, look how cool this is. I just have to do a little loop-de-loop. We're just going to sit back over here and watch them. So the dogs are up. They're moving quite close to the boundary now, so I don't know for how much longer they're going to be on the property, because they seem to be heading straight south. They've only got about 80 meters to go before they hit that boundary, so I'm really chuffed that we decided to sit with the dogs for the length that we did, because I was tempted a few times to actually just, throw in the towel and admit defeat. And there's one of the other wonderful safari guides enjoying themselves with their guests. I bet that they are over the moon to watch something like this. I don't want to disturb them too much. I mean, that's a pretty powerful sighting to basically experience. Can we do a really wide shot? KV, I just want to show them. Look at that. Can you imagine yourself at Chitwa on safari with 9 wild dogs walking straight towards your vehicle? I think that is fantastic, and their guide got them into the perfect sighting. I didn't want to steal the thunder, and I think sometimes that's quite important, to let people enjoy themselves. So that is amazing to see. And we're probably going to leave it at that because they are heading straight towards the boundary now. I don't want them to start trotting around, so we'll just watch them from the side as they disappear. They might turn around though. So if they turn around and come back that way, yes, we'll definitely try and sneak in a couple more minutes. There were quite a few people wanting to get into the sighting, but they might be quite far away. Mrs. Eagle, I wouldn't say that they're skinny. Wild dogs are typically quite lean. Occasionally they'll get, a sort of pot belly, if you will. And then that's how their belly sort of swells once they've eaten. See, there they are, they're about to cross the boundary and head on out now. So they'll need to eat once a day. If it's a big pack, sometimes they eat twice a day. So unlike the lions and leopards that will gorge themselves and hold on to their meals if it's a big prey species for quite a long time, these dogs will typically catch something smaller like an impala, maybe a young zebra fold, young wildebeest calf, depending on how big they are, or a duiker, a steenbok, whatever they can catch. And yeah, so they're not, I wouldn't say they're thin. I think they're just normal right now. They're going to go hunting. They're 100% going to go hunting. And by heading into that drainage line, which they're doing right now, they might flush out a duiker or a steenbok or an impala or something along those lines as well. But there they are. They're right on the boundary now. I can hear the other vehicles coming in. I just want to tell Mike that these guys can carry on coming in because I don't know if a lot of the guides can traverse in the opposing property, just like us. And I think we were very, very spoilt this afternoon. But that was amazing, though, and I hope that you all enjoyed that wild dog sighting. I most certainly did, and I know BK did too. But off you go back across to the hyena den, and I like it that we're all sticking to our guns and keeping our characters close this afternoon.
I think Corky is disciplining Plonk here. Because what happened was, Plonk left here and he left with the Pretty's cub, and I don't know where they were. And then Corky went mad, and she left the den, and she went looking for them. So now she came back just now, and then she found Plonk here. Then she took Plonk away from the other cubs for disciplinary hearing. And Corky was so worried earlier on because she went to the entrance of the den and she called. Nothing responded. Then she took off to look for Plonk. And then we have a lot of activity happening here. I think all the hyenas are here. And on the right here, we have a lot happening. Sorry about the poles. And Trishale. They're trying to share space in this small car. Hello, how are you? My identification skills are not good yet. It's all the growlings and the noise about the ranking. Cecilia, yes, Cecilia, for sure, because the one who's making noise now is Corky, and Corky is the matriarch of this clan. Oh, some discipline going on here. And they are all over our car. And yes, it's Corky who's making this sound. I think she's disciplining or saying something to Plonk, because she left the den and then... Oh, there's greeting going on here. It is amazing. You can see they have to lick the mammary glands there. And I'm so grateful that humans didn't do this. And these cubs, they look so confusing if you don't know who's who. But we just identified Plonk because he has a horseshoe on his right, on his left waist. So I think this is Plonk. Yes, and you can see the white tufts there on his waist. There's some white fur there. Hello, mommy. I'm sure if this was my mom, it would have been like, Plonk would be crying by now. Yes, the viewers are saying thank you for this awesome sighting. This sighting is amazing. And this one is licking my tie here. I'm sure we won't have a punch in. Hello, buddy. How does it taste like? It's just here. Sorry. Hello. Hello. This is amazing. But they stink. Sharon, what does the sound they're making called? Oops. That's the sound they're making, and it's called a. They are
Grumbling.
grumbling. Hello. And I don't know how do they make it. And you know, hyenas, they can make a lot of different sounds. And if you're next to a hyena, so close like this, like a meter or less than that, you can feel it in your chest. I wonder what she's saying to Plonk. And you can see, you can tell these are pretty cubs and Plonk and Cookie's cub has grown, because since we've been here, they didn't suckle. So it means they rely on meat and milk. So they have the balance between the two. Listen to that. I wonder what these chips are up to. They are taking these kids to a tour. There's a pen on the other side. I'm sure they're going for a swim, as we had a very hot afternoon. Sure, they might be swimming there. But I don't see any... Oh, it's just an anal paste. The territorial marking. But I don't see any bags that has some toiletries or some swimming costumes. Oh, here's a young chap. He's mimicking his older person or older guy's behavior. This is what they do. They have to learn these things. They have to know. Zephyr. Zephyr, hyenas sound like when they wake up.
Like her when she
Like
wakes
her
up.
when she wakes up.
That's
Oh.
the noise that Zephyr makes when she wakes up.
Zephyr. Zephyr, do you sound like these hyenas? Yo, I wonder how do you sound. I wish I could hear that. But it's a nice call, hey? And it's a nice sound. There's some kissing going on there. Oh, look at the tail and the hind legs. They have to leave this paste that is located between the rectum and the base of the tail. And that gland, it's white in color, but I don't know for these youngsters, like how does it look? It might be white or it might be transparent, because I've never seen that. But these ones for the older guys, it's usually white. I think everyone went to a pen for a swim. And these guys, they stink. So let me move forward and see what's happening on the other side of town. Oh, no. Here they come again. This is one of the greatest dens I've ever seen. So while we are looking at these beautiful hyenas moving around, let's go to Steve and see what he has.
What is going on with those guys? They're making so much noise. They're very cool, very special to be close to hyenas vocalizing. I haven't had the youngsters making any noises apart from a little bit of squittering the other day when they were begging mum for some milk, June's little youngsters. Well, you can see Craig's framed up sort of the western horizon, and the storm that was brewing and pulling in seems to have moved north and away from us. I did get a SMS from my insurance company warning me of hail in the mountains, so thankfully we're not up in the mountains there, otherwise, well, we might see some damage to our car. Beautiful afternoon. It's very, very humid though, but at least the wind has picked up a little bit and it's starting to cool things down. So we're starting to feel a little bit more human. It's been a very hot afternoon. And as Craig was saying just now, it's the first bushwalk of